Welcome to Gun Guy Radio. Let me start that over. Scratch that. Welcome to episode 152 of Gun Guy Radio. This is a podcast that shines a positive light on the firearms lifestyle. I'm your host, Jake Challen, and this is your weekly dose of positive firearms talk without the politics. And we have a special guest, Ryan Machat of Handgun Radio, joining us. Hey, Ryan.
Hey, how's it going?
It's going great. We sort of got left out of the on-location SHOT Show festivities this year, but some of the text messages I was getting back, I was kind of glad I wasn't there.
It was kind of nice, though, to be getting all these pictures and live SHOT Show updates from the show floor.
No,
so.
not the pictures I was getting. All right. Well, don't forget to shop Amazon next time you're shopping Amazon using our affiliate link. That's right, the Firearms Radio Network affiliate link. It helps out the shows. Firearmsradio.tv/Amazon is a link you can bookmark, or just go to most of our websites and look for that Amazon affiliate banner. Well, I guess I have a little announcements or conversational segment here about being a new concealed carrier here for I got my permit on New Year's Eve, but as many of you know, where I work, I can't carry 6 days a week, and sometimes where I park, I can't. That's like a gray area question mark. So I don't have a real good way to secure it in my car either. So I'm still unarmed here in Illinois quite often, but this last week I was off, so I concealed carry for 1 week straight, a first for me.
Congratulations.
And I got to go through all the new concealed carrier initiations, I guess you might say, like going to a public restroom, using both the urinal and the sit-down toilet with a handgun, in your waistband. Experienced that.
Did you do the Walmart walk?
The what's the Walmart walk?
Well, I don't know if the law is different in your state, but here in Maine, there isn't a law that's saying like people can post the places, but if you get caught in there carrying, they can ask you to leave, and if you refuse, then it's a trespassing charge. But it's not like in Texas, if they have the 30-06 sign, if you're seen carrying in the establishment, you could like immediately be arrested. Well,
yeah.
In Maine, there is no such thing like that. So one popular thing is the Walmart walk. When you first get your concealed carry permit, is you walk into Walmart with your gun on and magically notice that no one cares.
Right. Yeah, no, that was my experience. It was funny. I've been in a lot of stores here this last week shopping for my Amazon business, and there's times when you're thinking you see these people and you're like, if they knew I was carrying right now, they would probably freak out.
Yeah. Yeah, you think everybody's looking at you.
Yeah. But I had the experience of reaching up high on store shelves. And luckily, this is the winter months. I'll have to see how the summer months go. But with my long-tailed Duluth clothing, I don't think I have anything to worry about.
Yeah, it's different for me. I pocket carry, so I never really have that issue. But and I carry that Car CM9, so I mean, I've still got 14 rounds of 9mm and a pocket-sized gun that's still pretty controllable, but when you're carrying IWB, you are a little bit more aware of, how am I moving? Is it affecting how people are actually going to, are they going to see it and stuff like that? But after a while, you just adapt and it becomes second nature.
Right. You have to get used to like the subtle changes of like when you reach up and maybe your holster moves a little bit. You're like, is the gun coming out?
Right. It's hard for me. I hate tucking in my shirt, so IWB is not something I do all the time, but.
Yeah. Why? Yeah, I don't. I just wear inside the waistband with a long Duluth shirt hanging over it. So it's been going pretty well, knock on wood. So no like the full auto news stories we share on This Week in Guns about police using the bathroom and their gun falling out and going off, and nothing like that.
Perfect. That's the way you want it.
So. Also, don't forget, we just launched our Firearms Radio Network Patreon. That's right, you can support the network as a whole at patreon.com/FRN. Well, Ryan, let's get into the main topic. This is our post-SHOT Show 2015 wrap up. We're going to look at a few of the new guns, a few of the flops, and a few pieces of gear. But I wanted to comment real quickly on what I've been hearing from the SHOT Show floor about the industry's new momentum this year, about how we're kind of, as an industry, looking ahead instead of looking behind or looking down, because last couple of years, we've had kind of an uncertain future for the firearms industry, and now it seems like everyone's looking up. Have you kind of gotten that feel from the reports from the floor, Ryan?
Yeah, I've gotten, and it's kind of been the same way over the past few years of SHOT Show. And I'll quote a phrase from one of my friends here, but he says it's more not new products, but like an evolutionary type of thing. There were a few new products that were introduced this year that I saw, but more and more it's just evolutions on an old theme, which isn't a bad thing by any means, because I mean there's always room for improvement. But it seems like everybody is. There was that rush last year and the year before that.
Was it last year that it was like everyone's now an AR-15 maker?
Exactly. And then all of a sudden you kind of see the market constrict a little bit. The market hit its saturation point, and then you started seeing the companies, like, wasn't it just recently we heard about Smith & Wesson and other people's stocks kind of going down? And, they've made all these AR-15s, now they've got to sell them. And you have the diehard AR-15 guys who will buy rifle after rifle, and then you have the people who were part of the panic, quote unquote, and went out and bought one because they thought they weren't going to be able to get one later on. And now, some of those people are keeping them, some of those people are saying, I don't really need this, and they're selling them. So that contributes to that market saturation. So, I mean, I think you're going to see a lot of affordable AR-15s. We've seen it over the past year, obviously, and then like companies like Ruger coming out with their bare bones model. What was it, the AR-556? That was something that I didn't see them doing. So I'm not sure. They kind of came out with that late in the game, it seems to me.
But they did, but that product really makes sense for a company like Ruger, who offers quality, affordable firearms.
Well, and the fact it doesn't take proprietary mags is a good thing too.
Well, and you're seeing stuff like my dad is like just now wanting to get an AR because he's had some problems with his sight, and like he's pretty much completely blind in one eye, and he started using reflex sights on his 22s and stuff, and he's like, wow, I can actually hit the target and stuff, because he was having to shoot left-handed just to compensate for his vision, and being able to shoot normally with a red dot sight. He's looking to get an AR now, and he's like, what's a good budget one? And I'm like, well, you the Smith & Wesson M&P Sport, I mean, that's a great budget gun if you can find it. So I'm like, here, let me look it up. And I'm like, wow, everyone's in stock with it, seems like, and it's at just over $600, like $615. I'm like, you can't beat that. I mean, that's quality brand, quality product for an entry-level rifle, and it's cool to see stuff like that come back into stock, or new, even though everyone has been buying ARs, there's still new people coming into that market space.
Well, and most people that listen to me know I'm probably not the biggest fan of AR-15s. I'm more of an M1A guy, but if I want to see a company, and I've been saying this for a while now, if I were to buy an AR, I want the Vietnam era AR, the A1, with the triangle handguard, that flash hider, and the only thing I probably wouldn't want was the carry handle, because I do want the option to mount an optic, but other than that, I just want it straight stock. No forward assist, none of that business on the side.
How are you going to carry it then?
Oh, I'll figure out a way.
All right, let's get into the new guns segment. So, okay, Ryan, you've been drooling all over the Colt 1903. Colt is producing some new models of the 1903. Apparently a very limited run. And so why do you want to see this gun so bad?
Well, I have an original 1903, and if you're a listener of Handgun Radio, you know the firing pin is still broken on it, so I can't shoot it. But the 1903 is one of those handguns that it's just, I don't know, it has something about it. It's been in countless movies. Humphrey Bogart preferred the 1903 actually, because he was a smaller guy, and having that smaller gun, it was like a forced perspective type of thing. It made it look bigger, or made him look bigger. And
It's like cowboys riding little horses.
exactly, yeah. The gun, it hasn't been made since the mid 40s. I think the production stopped in 1946, and then Colt kept making guns with spare parts they had laying around until about 1948. The gun was made back when, and they were all hand fitted, so it's not really a gun that translates well to mass production techniques that you might see today. So it'll be interesting to see. From what I understand, the guy that helped helm the I don't know if you remember hearing about the Colt Bulldog Gatling gun they did a few years back.
Yeah, I've seen a few of those.
The same guy who helped them do that project, I believe his name is Kurt Wolf. He's a U.S. Armament Corporation. They are the ones redoing this, so they're going to do a limited run of 2,500. 500 of them will be commemorating the General Officers Issue pistols, because the 1903 and the 1908 were adopted by the U.S. Army as a pistol they gave to officers like Patton, Eisenhower, and Bradley. They all carried one. So they're going to do 500 with matching serial numbers, or sort of matching, commemorating the ones that were issued to the generals, because they did mark those down, and those are the ones that will run you a pretty penny nowadays. And then the other ones are just going to be the regular Parkerized standard issue Colt 1903s. It's going to be interesting how they do it, only because it's a strange design sort of for modern people, because like the 380, they're all straight blowback. They use a barrel that it's not pinned to the frame. Like if you open up a Walther PPK or a Makarov and you look, the barrel is actually pinned to the frame and it does not move. The 1903's barrel is sort of pinned to the frame, but it actually locks into a bunch of locking lugs inside the slide inside the frame. And so that allows you to have a removable barrel but still have a blowback system. And it's just, it's a great handgun. If you ever held one, the minute you pick one up, I know the minute I picked one up, I was like, yeah, I want this. It points well. It feels great in the hand. It's thin. It's just an amazing handgun. I'm really excited to see what they do with these reproductions, and I'd be really happy if Colt brought back like the 1908 and 380. I think that would be more commercially viable in today's market rather than the 32. But that would be awesome if they could actually figure out a way to bring that back and, you know, maybe price it at around $900. This one, from what I understand, the limited run ones are going to run around $13.95, and that is $1,395, not $13, unfortunately. So they're going to be a little bit pricey, but hopefully they're reliable. Hopefully the company does a good job. They did a good job with that Bulldog Gatling gun, and I think this should be a pretty quality product. But I was surprised to actually see it. Someone sent a picture on Facebook, and I was like, whoa, what is that? I called Steve. I was like, you got to go to the Colt booth for me and check this out and get all the info you can. So
now, were some of the original ones blued?
Yeah, mine was blued. Most of the commercial models were blued. All the U.S. Army ones, I believe, were all Parkerized. I could be wrong, but I believe they all were.
Yeah, I think that's a much better look for this gun rather than Parkerized.
Yeah, the blued ones are nice, especially that old Colt high polish blue like they used to put on the Pythons.
Well, very cool. Well, what about CZ? CZ's dumped a bunch of things on the market, including the new Scorpion, the civilian version. They're I don't know, what would you call it?
It's the Scorpion Evo 3 S1 pistol, so it's quote unquote a pistol legally, but it's
like a modern sporting pistol, I guess you could say.
Yeah, that would probably be the best way to describe it. I see a lot of people probably trying to put the SIG brace on it and use it legally, quote unquote. But it's actually kind of cool. I know my buddy wants to get one. It's an evolution of their old, well, sort of an evolution of the old Scorpion VZ61. That was that small 32 caliber submachine gun.
Those are in 32 caliber.
Yeah, and that one has that folding wire stock on the top of it. So I mean, it's carrying on that lineage, except only in name. Really, it has no functionality comparison to that gun. It's chambered in 9mm Luger. It's going to be 20+1 double stack magazine, polymer, clear, see-through. The frame is fiber reinforced polymer, and barrel length is around 7.72 inches, and the weight's around 5 pounds. Overall length 16 inches. Just a cool little like PDW style firearm. I really think this is going to be popular, and at the price point they're offering, I mean, $849. You know,
Yeah,
it's
that's
kind
pretty
of
good.
yeah, it's kind of an exotic firearm, and I think that's going to help it because where it's at such a low price point, it's more accessible to a lot of different people as opposed to being, you know, something like the MP7, which if they offered that on the civilian market over here in a semi-auto version as a pistol, I bet you'd be paying at least $2,000 for it.
Yeah, it looks like it's got proprietary magazines.
And they're very cheap, from what I understand.
Are they? That's
Yeah,
good.
I
That's
think they're
good.
like less than $20 a magazine, from what I've heard.
Well, very cool. Yeah, I saw those as well. And the Scorpion. A lot of us former video gamers or current video gamers will recognize the Scorpion from many different video games. It seems like it was a favorite to put in the bad guys' hands.
Yeah, I guess the new one's in this new one is actually in Battlefield 4, so I'll have to go check that out.
All right. Well, speaking of European uh, firearms, the MP44 Sturmgewehr rifles are coming to the U.S. We covered this a little bit on This Week in Guns, but these were so cool we have to cover them twice.
Yeah, the Sturmgewehr is actually really cool. I was very excited to see this, and it's sort of the trend you've seen recently with companies bringing back the classic designs in terms of the rifles. Now, I think it was last year at SHOT Show we heard about GSG bringing in the MP4022. So they were making an MP40 that had a fake suppressor on it to comply with the length restrictions, and then they also made the Sturmgewehr in 22 as well. Now, up until this point, I haven't heard of any reproductions coming in the original caliber. So the Sturmgewehr was in 8x33 Kurz, I believe, which is a short 8mm Kurz. And then the MP38, MP40 was in 9mm. Now, these, I think there's a ELBE TAC, who is the U.S. distributor for these rifles. Now, this is still like a prospect. They're waiting for ATF approval, I guess. But they're going to be bringing in MP44 and MP38 reproductions in the original calibers. The MP38 is...
Yeah, I thought they said ATF had already approved these.
Let's see. ATF has approved the designs for these two, but it says importation is still pending permit approval. So the importation is still pending.
So it's another hurdle. But
Yeah. But it's interesting. And the MP38 is kind of cool because they didn't attach some big gaudy suppressor on the end of it because the MP38 was never suppressed in World War II.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, two classic World War II Axis right, or one's a battle rifle, I guess you would say, and the other one's an old sporting pistol caliber carbine, maybe.
yeah, sort of. It's the MP44 is basically really the first assault rifle. And actually, you can use that term assault rifle. I know sometimes today people use the term wrongly, incorrectly. But this was a select fire rifle in a shorter caliber. It was a medium caliber weapon as opposed to something firing a full size battle rifle cartridge like the FG42.
Yeah, no, very very cool to hopefully those get through the next set of hurdles and we see those come to the U.S. So let's talk about the ATI Polymer 1911. That's right, Polymer 1911.
Yeah, this one I'm honestly kind of curious about. There's not a great deal of info out there right now. Over at Guns, Holsters, and Gear, they have a pretty good write-up on it from what he saw at the SHOT Show, and it is. Have you seen the pictures of it?
Yeah, it's pretty
Pretty goofy.
stylized.
I mean, the one thing I can see being a problem, and I hope they get rid of it, is the finger grooves on the grip frame.
Yeah, that immediately jumped out to me. Is it ported? It's got like ports in the slide.
It looks ported, but then I don't see any cuts in the barrel, so that leads me to believe that the what they're saying here is that the gun it's designed to be, it's a prototype, so we don't have that much information. But from what I understand, it's designed to be able to swap out calibers. So I don't know if they have this. There's a bunch of cuts in the top of the slide as well. So they lightning cuts, and it only weighs about 22 to 24 ounces. So I'm thinking maybe they did that to the slide in order to increase maybe cycling reliability with some of the lower power cartridges, if you can indeed convert it.
Hmm. Yeah. Now, didn't Rock River come out with a polymer 1911 last year?
Yeah, it just kind of looked like a standard frame, though. It wasn't really stylized. This one, the slides all cut weird, and
Yeah.
it almost looks like, if you look at it, the perspective of the gun, it looks like someone took the end of the slide and bent it down, sort of.
That could be just a photo.
Right. Well, I think it's because they kind of have an angle, a short angle at the back of the slide, just behind the rear sight. So
Yeah.
that could be the perspective of it. But the finger grooves I don't really care for, only because if your hand falls on the gun wrong, or if your fingers don't match up with the grooves, it can make the gun uncomfortable to shoot and hard to get in action into a hurry.
Yeah. So it looks like it's got more height to it as well. Like the bottom of the frame to the top of the slide looks a lot taller than a standard 1911.
Yeah, and I don't know if maybe that had something to do with the polymer construction. And like I said, this is still a prototype, so this would be interesting to get a hold of. I wonder if they'll make any changes in the final product, or if it'll even end up making it to market.
So Caracal looks like they're also getting into the 1911 market. Were they previously in the 1911 world? I can't remember.
Not that I know of, not that I've heard. I know everybody is pretty aware of the whole debacle with their Model F pistols and the other ones there. And I wanted Caracal to succeed. It seemed like they had a good product. Everybody I talked to really enjoyed their guns, to be honest. And the recall, I don't know. I mean, I know there was one instance of a guy having a gun come to pieces in his hand, but I don't know if that was, something of one of his hand loads or something that caused that. But there were a lot of people who were really pleased with the Caracal handgun. It was kind of a shame to see them initiate that factory recall of all the guns.
Yeah, so was that completely a non-show this year? Or were
From what I've seen, Caracal was at Media Day at the range with a Model F pistol in 9mm. And I think they also had their rifle there. Now, last year they got into the rifle game,
Mhm.
and from all the reports I heard last year on their rifle were very impressive. People were raving about the trigger. So I believe they had their rifle there, but the 1911 is definitely a new venture for them. There was no information available from what I'm seeing here in this article, but they should be sending out press releases soon about it. It looks like your standard 1911. With it's got a black frame with silver controls, or stainless steel controls. So your slide release, your safety, your hammer, the beaver tail, and it looks like G10 grips on it. I mean, it looks like a nicely made 1911, and they really didn't, try to plaster the side of the gun, with their billboard like a lot of companies will do, because there's a lot of empty space on the side of that slide, and they like to write things on it. So it's kind of refreshing to see it kind of Spartan look.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if they releasing this, if they had previously planned releasing a 1911, or if they thought, we need to get a handgun in the marketplace while we're working through this recall, or whatever you call it, redesign of of their main Caracal pistols, and maybe this was just an easy way for them to get into the handgun marketplace quicker.
Yeah, that would make sense to me. I mean, the patent drawings and everything, I mean, all the engineering is done for you.
Right.
The 1911's already out on the market. There's nobody that's going to say, oh, you copied our design. So, I mean, it's basically make the little tweaks you want that aren't going to alter their functionality or reliability, and get to work.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think out of all the 1911 stuff I've seen at this year's SHOT, some of the coolest ones I've seen are the Browning 380. These are what, 85%
Yes.
size of the standard 1911, and it's these are definitely on my to shoot list for sure.
Yeah, I'm not sure about the Rock Island gun. That was the first I've heard of it, seeing it at range day. The 1911 380. There were a lot of people. I'm not sure that, I don't know. I hate to say it, but got it, understood it. I think a lot of people thought it was a full size 1911 in 380, which I would be like, why? But it's, if you ever held one of them, I've held the 1911 22 that Browning did, and that was also 85%, and it is just the cutest little gun.
Yeah.
It fits in the hand, but it's still really small. So I mean, it's great for it's. I would almost kind of approximate it to the same size as a Ruger SR22, and it's great gun. And I'd like to shoot the 380. The Rock Island, I'm not sure if it's 85% or not. I know it's only about 6 rounds, and I think the Browning holds 8, so there may be a little bit of a difference there.
Interesting. I haven't seen the Rock Island one up until now. But
It
that's
looks it looks a lot like the Browning. It's got an external extractor. I think the Browning, it's got a, well, sort of a weird looking external extractor on the side, but I would be interested to shoot them. I've always said that before I knew that Colt was redoing the 1903, I said Browning should just take that 1911 380 they have, put a hammer shroud on the back, and they'd have themselves a 1908 new production.
yeah. So 6 Hour is coming to market with some 10 millimeters.
Oh,
Is this the next evolution of the 10 mil?
I certainly hope so. I was excited to see that. I heard about this, I want to say way back in June or July. There were rumors of it on the SIG forum, and then Come Around SHOT Show heard that they were coming out with it, and sure enough, it was that media day at the range. And the only thing I got to say is they only fit 8 rounds into it. The P220 is generally, I think with the 45 it's a single stack, but I may be wrong, and I should know this, host a handgun radio, but the P220 is a platform that's never been in 10 millimeter. I don't believe SIG's ever made a 10 mil. So it's kind of cool. You got the double action versions as well as the single action versions. And if I was doing the 10 millimeter, I would probably go with the single action version. But I was really excited to see this because, I mean, realistically, your only 10 millimeter game in town was either a Glock or Rock Island, or if you wanted to pay the money, a Colt Delta Elite in 10 mil in that 1911 platform. So having the option of having a Sig Sauer in that caliber is really nice.
Right, another all steel option. Pretty cool. Yeah, you're right. The Rock Islands have several offerings in 10 mil. I kind of forgot about that, but they would be a good place to turn as well. Have you seen a price point on these P220s? Are these going to be like close to $1,000 or more?
You're generally, with a Sig Sauer pistol, you're usually looking at least $1,000. It says price to be announced, but there are actually a couple of nice ones here. They have the Elite, which is it's a 5-inch match barrel with a stainless steel slide. I really like the kind of contrasting colors they have. They have black grips and black controls with the stainless like gray sliding frame. The P220s are nice for people who aren't usually fans of the Sig Sauer double action system, only because it's single action. You carry it cocked and locked like a 1911. The trigger pull doesn't change. So that's really nice. I don't see a price point here, but I would assume you'd probably be looking north of 1,000, probably around 1,200 maybe.
All right. Well, you mentioned you were more of an M1 guy than an AR-15 guy, right?
Yes.
So I see you dropped in the Springfield M1A Loaded Edition. What can you tell me about this?
This one, I've only seen a few pictures of it. I was really, really intrigued. I've got the article right here. Actually, it's basically it's the company, a new version of the company's loaded M1A rifle, using a precision adjustable composite stock to better allow fit for the shooter. So it's basically got adjustable cheek weld, adjustable length of pull on the rear of the stock, and then your various mounting points for your different optics and stuff like that. But I just think it's really cool that they're bringing that design into the future. Everybody's, not to make anybody bad, but everybody's, AR, 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 or AK, AK, and for some reason I just like the lines of that system. I really, really like that gun.
Well, and they come in at a pretty good MSRP of just under 2,000. So
Right.
you probably see them in the store maybe for 17 or something. I'm guessing, maybe a little more. But yeah, that could get you into some precision shooting at that's a pretty good budget price for a precision big caliber rifle, I would say.
Right. They're saying it's going to have a national match 22-inch stainless steel barrel with a 1 in 11 right-hand twist. The front sight's a national match 0.62-inch blade, and the rear sight is a non-hooded national match adjustable aperture. And it comes with one 10-round magazine. That's really the only downside. But most of the time, you're not going to be really doing rapid fire with this gun. It is a 308. You're going to be probably doing some long-range shooting, like you said.
Well, yeah, and I think the real value in this one is a stock, having adjustable cheek riser and adjustable butt pad and everything. This is the kind of stock that if you were buying a precision rifle, most likely you'd have to take the stock, stock off of it,
Right.
and put a stock like this on it. But this one already comes with it.
No, this is a really nice rifle, and if I was getting into precision rifle competition and I wanted a 308, I would go with one of these. I've shot the AR-10s. I like them, but I don't know. There's just something about this gun. It's classic and modern at the same time, and I love it.
Well, speaking of classic and modern, maybe you could say that about this. I don't know. The CMMG MK47, the Mutant. It's an AR-15 and 7.62 by 39.
This one, I was kind of blindsided when they came up with it. It's been a while. It's been out a while, but you see a lot of AR pattern rifles, some of them in 7.62 by 39, but typically some of their reliability has been spotty. You might say some guns, especially the ones that are modified, they use like the same mag well. A lot of the problems can be traced to the magazine. This gun is designed from the ground up to use the AK-47 magazine, so I see the reliability being a lot better. And from all the videos I saw at SHOT Show, people were just doing mag dumps all day with the full auto version, and it looked really controllable. I like the full length handguard and barrel. It has just a really great look to it.
It does. Out of all the AR, AK, I guess, abominations out there, some may say, this is by far the coolest one. I mean, and it looks like it's really been designed from the ground up to take in consideration of rocking the AK mags in like they need to be rocked in, rather than working with a shorter receiver like some other companies have.
Well, and if you're looking at the specs here, I mean, like, okay, the base version, the MK47 Mutant T, it's got a 16.1-inch barrel, uses a A2 compensator. The handguard is a CMMG RK M15 key mod with a single-stage trigger. Buttstock is A4 style, 6-position. The pistol grip's A2 style. Only around a weight of about 7 pounds, which is pretty light. With the stock collapse, you're looking at about a 13.75-inch length. But the thing that's surprising to me is the MSRP of only $14.99. So on the street, yeah, I mean, after the newness wears off, you're probably going to pay around $1,000, maybe $1,100 for this out on the street.
Yeah, that'd be cool. This would be a good 3-gun option, I'm thinking.
Yeah, it's using direct gas impingement like the other AR rifles, and it uses a carbine length gas system. I guess it uses a modified AR-10 bolt for strength. So, and CMMG ships all these rifles with the relatively new Magpul AK-type P mags, so that's an added bonus. And they use the AK-style latch system for magazine retention, so you don't have that push-button mag release, but it's not that hard to use.
Yeah, well, it's the way it was designed, so it makes sense. It says it runs with pretty much all AK magazines, I believe, so that's another plus.
Well, and the cool thing here I see is the AR-10 compatibility. So, according to CMMG, the following parts are interchangeable with any mil-spec non-Armalite parts: trigger assembly, handguard, pistol grip, buffer tube assembly, buttstock, gas system, and muzzle device.
Oh, very cool. Well, let's get back to the handguns. Korth introduces the 9mm revolver. Can you tell us a little bit about the company Korth? What do you know about them?
Korth is a German company, and they are known for their really, really expensive, really high quality revolvers. And they do make some semi-auto pistols. Those aren't as well known. I think one of them is called the PRS, and that it uses an interesting roller delayed blowback system, but or roller delayed locking system rather. The company is mainly known for their revolvers. Now, Korth is making, and this is kind of a weird departure for them. Generally, you think of Korth, they have, really high polished blue, very, very tight tolerances. I believe a lot of the stuff is hand fitted, and you're going to be paying around $6,000 for a Korth. Now, looking at this one, it's like I said, it's a weird departure for them. So it's a 9mm, which actually the 9mm part of it isn't that weird for them. They did tend to chamber a lot of their revolvers in auto pistol cartridges or include an interchangeable cylinder for a 38 special, so you could shoot 38 or 9mm, sort of like the Ruger Blackhawk system. But the Sky Marshal is their first venture into a clipless 9mm revolver. And so basically, rather than using your standard moon clips like you would on a revolver that shoots auto pistol cartridges to allow for head spacing, because obviously auto pistol cartridges are rimless, they're using a system similar to the Smith & Wesson 547 and the Charter Arms, the new guns that shoot the clip. I think they're called the Bulldog Pug or something like that, in 45 and 9mm. And so basically what happens is you put the rounds in, and this little tab engages the extractor groove on the cartridge and keeps the round in the cylinder and allows it to head space. You fire it, and then when you go to eject it like you normally would on a revolver, those tabs push the cartridges up and out. Now, this system can have problems. The tab is relatively small, and with the 9mm, people don't realize the 9mm is actually a fairly high-pressure cartridge. And if you have a case that gets stuck to the walls of the inside of the chamber, and you go to hit that ejector rod, well, if it gives you a lot of resistance, you could either end up having that tab slip out of the groove, or it could, essentially pull the rim off the case if it's soft brass. So the system, while it's good in theory, does have its limitations and problems. From what I understand, from what I hear from Grant Cunningham and people he talked to at the show, he was hopeful that Korth would address those issues. It doesn't look like they really did. From what I understand, they had some extraction issues and stuff like that. Everybody I talked to that shot the gun said it was smooth, it had all the Korth quality that you would expect, but the system they chose, I think, was kind of problematic, and hopefully if they do want to continue doing this, maybe they can do something with like a moon clip and just have the gun like that.
All right. Well, one last gun we're going to talk about. I guess this one isn't brand new, but the Century Arms Knik TP9SA. So this was at I guess Range Day, and they had that at the SHOT Show floor. This is their Century Arms take on a polymer double stack. Boy, I don't know what you would call it. What would you compare this to?
Walther P99.
Is that pretty much copying the Walther here?
It sort of is. If you look at the top of the slide, right in front of the rear sight, I believe that is either the decocker or the safety. I'm not sure. You'd have to ask Savage 1R over at We Like Shooting. He's got one of these, and from what I understand, he loves it. But the thing about this gun is it's priced below $400, which is actually really good for most polymer pistols. You're generally going to pay around $300 to $400, and this one's is well below that. And from what I understand, the trigger is just phenomenal. It's got the Glock style trigger flipper in the middle there, the safety. Let's see. Okay, so that thing on the top is the Striker decocker safety feature, and it's for me that looks like it's in sort of a weird position because you have to shift your grip to do it because it's right on the top, and that was a feature that I saw on the Smith & Wesson 99, which was sort of Smith & Wesson's copy of the P99 back in the mid-90s or early 2000s. And so this sort of looks like a rehash of that, but I think Knik did it quite a bit better from what I'm reading and what I've heard about it.
So is that what the thing is on the very top of the slide?
Yeah,
It like cups the slide almost the top. It's like a
it looks
sleeve.
like a button.
Oh, is that? It's more of a button.
Yeah, just in the back of the rear, in front of the rear sight. You press it straight down,
I
and it
see.
decocks the striker.
That is bizarre.
Yeah, that's the only fault I see with this design, and I think Smith and Wesson
Is
put
the
that on there.
is the idea to like make you take your finger off the trigger to do that?
I would think so, but I would think it would honestly kind of make it more awkward because it's like it's sort of doing the same thing you would do with a Sig Sauer with the decocker on the side, except it's a striker fired gun, not hammer fired. And I don't know. I would much rather just see like a Sig Sauer type decocker on the side rather than that. But realistically, who is decocking a striker fired pistol?
Yeah. Hmm. That's pretty bizarre. It comes with a paddle holster, mag loader. It's like they're trying to provide that extra value of like Springfields and Smith and Wesson are with these range. I don't know, whatever they have a unique name for each of them, but a range kit or whatever
Right.
these new guns come with. But this one, the holster it comes with has a what? It's a Blackhawk style. Uh, what level?
Retention.
Retention level was that level 2 or
Yeah. Now the cool thing here though is it looks like it has a really low bore axis. It gets the hand high on that grip, which is good. But it also has an 18 plus 1 capacity and comes with two 18 round magazines.
wow. Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of value there. It'd be interesting to check that one out too. Well, let's get into the gear. Let's talk about the SSA Plan B base pad and magazine extension.
So this one is cool. A friend of mine, Paul Carlson, he is a fan of the Smith and Wesson Shield, especially now that they don't have the thumb safety anymore. And he was trying to figure out. He had an encounter with a student in one of his classes. If you carry a Smith and Wesson Shield, you know that the spare 8-round magazine has a little sleeve that allows you to get a full grip on the magazine. And unknown to Paul, they were doing a class, and the magazine sleeves kept slipping up and down. They move freely on the magazine. And so they were pinching people's hands, they were getting in the way on the draw, they were causing the magazine to not drop free. So Paul and the other instructor said, just remove the sleeve, you'll be good. Well, the people were running their guns really hard, and without that sleeve, the magazine was able to go way further than it was designed to go up inside the gun, and it ended up bending this guy's extractor. Or not extractor, ejector. Bent it straight up in the air and basically made his gun non-functional.
Wow.
So there was actually a big design issue with not having that sleeve on the extended magazine. So unfortunately, the student ended up being killed tragically in a plane crash later on, and Paul really felt like he wanted to help answer the guy's question, even though he couldn't in real life anymore. And so he came up with the SSA Plan B. So this is a design he's been working on. It's right now it's an aluminum. He's hoping to get it into a polymer part, but it's basically an aluminum base plate. It uses a sort of tongue and groove system that does the same thing as the sleeve, but it's slightly modified so your hand does not create the friction on the back end of the magazine, and it allows the mag to drop free when you hit the mag when you punch the mag button. It has a little bit of a lip on the bottom of it, so if you have a stuck magazine, you need to pry it out of there. You can do it very easily. The original OEM grip sleeve did not have that, and I think it adds a little bit of weight too, which is also good, and it adds just a lot of functionality to the Shield because it is a small gun for some people, and having that extended mag really helps. One place where I think this will be really helpful in the future, and I'm hoping that it will work with it, is in the 40 Smith & Wesson version. Because that small shield in 40, I can imagine, is quite a handful. So having that extra gripping surface is going to be a really good thing for that caliber.
Yeah, I can see these being popular if they're legal. I don't know if they are legal or not for a bug gun match for like IDPA or whatnot.
And I would imagine they are. I mean, I wonder if the extended magazine is legal as well, and if that one would be, I'm not sure why this one would be any different.
All right. Well, Magpul has released a Glock magazine, the PMag G17 or GL9 mags. Uh, Really good price point on these, 15.95. 17 round standard capacity Glock magazine with high visibility anti-tilt follower, stainless steel spring, and easily removable floor plate. Something Glock mags aren't necessarily known for.
Yeah. No, I'm really impressed. I'm actually kind of surprised it took them this long to come out with one.
Well, I wonder if moving from Colorado to Texas or wherever they moved to kind of delayed some of these products.
Yeah, I think they moved one state over, or something like that.
So yeah, the PMag, it's going to be interesting to see if they delve into other models of the PMag once this one's in the marketplace for a while.
Well, and the thing is, I saw people complaining. Well, it's if why would I pay $10 less and not have the reliability? Magpul makes quality products. If I bought one of these, I would have no problem using them.
Yeah, I'd like to see them come out with maybe a longer 33 round mag, or to maybe come out with a drum mag version. That'd be kind of cool.
Well, I know the 33 round Glock mags can be kind of expensive, so if they could make one a little bit cheaper, that would be a pretty hot seller, I would think, as well. Especially for the people with pistol caliber carbines that use the Glock mags, like that Kel-Tec.
Yeah, for sure. So, X Products, speaking of drum mags, is coming out with 9mm drum mags for Colt style, pistol caliber ARs, and they're also having in the works 9mm AR mags that use Glock magazines. So, imagine using them on your Glock as well. So these look pretty cool. They're made in the U.S. We've seen different drum mags come and go in the past that have not worked well, so I'm crossing my fingers on these.
I kind of do see the same issue in the Firearm Blog article talking about these. It's a 32 round drum magazine, and Glock already makes a 33 round mag. The only difference here is, I suppose, the drum magazine is a little bit more compact, so that would be good. But because that 33 round mag does stick quite a ways out. This would probably be good for people, like I said, with the pistol caliber carbines, being a little bit more compact on the bottom. Because good luck going prone with that 33 round mag sticking out of the grip of a Kel-Tec.
Yeah. So let's see here. What else is on the horizon here for gear? I guess I dropped one more in here. A concealed carry holster for running. Pistolware. Where may have what you want. I guess Pistolware is a company here. So this is kind of a belly band style design, would you say?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. I've never been terribly enamored of the belly band style holsters. For me, I don't do much running. Let's just put it that way.
Now, this is something I've been thinking about now that I carry, because I plan on shedding some weight here sometime and getting out there and running, and I've been thinking about my options. So this might provide some options for those of us that try to get fit.
Yeah, and a lot of it has to do with your gun size too. If I was out running and I wasn't, irregardless of what the belly band does, carrying something that's going to be heavy in your pants or something like that, you're going to be running, it's going to be swinging all over the place. With an LCP, it might not be as bad. So if you are someone who carries a full-size gun, I could see where this would be nice. I'm just curious, as you're running, will it slide down your body or anything like that and become uncomfortable for you?
Well, it shows a version that has like a shoulder strap too.
Okay.
So that might if you get really skinny and then it's just falling off of you because you're so skinny. But yeah, that's something I've been thinking about, so I might check those out. So let's talk about a few SHOT Show flops, starting with the The Heiser defense. I mean, come on, Heiser always comes out with quality products. Uh,
I
so
don't.
apparently they're coming out with a semi-auto. So Heiser, I guess we should say they're known for their um, what would you call them? Their
Pocket single shot pistols.
yeah, are they mostly single shot? I guess they are.
Yeah, they had that whole drama with double tap and they were going to be making the double tap, the 45, the over under, and then Heiser did something to make them mad, and I don't remember the whole drama how it played out, but so they separated off into two companies. Heiser went one way and double tap went the other. Both, in my opinion, kind of I don't even know what they're thinking.
Yeah, they're tilt up single shot, right?
Yeah, they're sort of like a Derringer almost, but all the ones I've seen, they're as big as a semi-auto pistol. I mean, they're thin, yeah, but thin is not always better. There's a point of diminishing returns. You got to have a nice, decent area to have that recoil force distributed.
Well, they're really blocky. They're really
Yeah.
an odd shape, and they've kept. Why I mention all that is that they've kept this odd blocky shape for their semi-auto 45 ACP handgun, which is yeah, it's probably the ugliest of all the ones they've released.
Well, they went. Okay, this is one thing I don't understand because, like, with their okay, these are the guys who did the 410 pocket shotgun, and I was kind of ragging on them because they were doing that 223 pocket pistol. I just heard recently that they knew it was ridiculous, and basically what they're going to do is because I guess with the 410 shotgun, the pistol frame, you can actually take that barrel off, and the 223 barrel will fit on that frame, and I think it's only going to be around $100. So if you just want something to make a really cool fireball with, and it's not really for defensive use, I suppose that's cool if you want to spend the $100 and be able to shoot a 223 out of a pistol and lose your eyebrows, but. This 45, they went with straight blowback, which already in and of itself is a problem. Now, people rag on high points a lot for how they look, but they have to look that way. They use a straight blowback system. For them to be able to safely operate and keep the breech closed long enough for the pressures to drop and the bullet to get out of the barrel, the slide has to weigh quite a bit, and the recoil spring has to be pretty hefty. Now, if High Point were to make the recoil spring too heavy and make the slide lighter and less blocky, a lot of people wouldn't be able to rack the slide. So they've struck a compromise between the bulkiness of the slide, the weight of it, and the weight of the recoil spring to keep the gun locked up until it's safe to open up and eject the spent case. Heiser's doing this with this small. It's held in the hand, but I'm sure it's still pretty big, and it looks like it's made out of all stainless steel, so I can't imagine it's going to be very light. From what they're saying, it comes with 2 magazines, either a flush fit 5-round or an extended 7-round. Straight blowback guns generally are not very fun to shoot in the bigger calibers, barring the high points. The high points, for some reason, the grip frame design, I guess, really helps that out. But with this one, I just do not see this comfortable to shoot. I think this is going to be a real handful, especially in straight blowback.
Well, and Taurus has a few offerings that, yeah, not quite sure what to think about them, like the Taurus non-view view.
So The View, everybody remembers The View. It's that crappy TV show. Sorry, get hate mail for that too. But Taurus came out with this last year, I believe at SHOT Show or NRA Show, one of the other.
I think it was shot last year.
And it used a Lexan side plate, so you could actually see inside the gun. But that was the thing that everybody talked about. But the other thing you got to look at is the gun has a really small grip frame, and if you look at the gun from like the profile version from the front end, the business end, the grip is actually slightly curved. So it was their sort of first venture into the whole curved handgun frame thing, like they're doing with that 380. And I don't see you being able to get a full grip on the grip of the handgun and being able to control it. It's not rated for plus P, which you wouldn't probably want to shoot plus P in it anyway with a gun this size. And it's only got, the barrel is like an inch or less. I think it's just about an inch. The ejector rod is really short, so you're not going to get full ejection of any of those 38 special cases, which is going to really be a hindrance in terms of reloading. But I mean, I could see maybe as a backup to your backup, the gun only weighs 9 ounces, so it's going to be quite a handful. I don't know. It's not something I would be interested in, but there may be applications for it out there. But this year I guess the View was discontinued, and we thought it was gone forever, but they're just coming out with one without that Lexan side plate. I guess after a few shots, the Lexan clouded up from the gunpowder residue, and it was really useless after that.
Not to mention people trying to watch their gun work as they shoot it.
Yeah, and putting a round into the bay beside them.
So, also Taurus has hit, two foul balls here, I think, with the Taurus TCP with wings.
This one, I can see where they're going with it. They did, they kind of copied what Heckler & Koch did with the VP9.
Yeah.
Kind of added the wings on the back of the slide for people who may have problems racking a slide on a semi-auto. The thing is, I do like the concept of not having them out permanently, only because when I saw the VP9, I was like, man, those things would just be in the way for me. And the wings just don't look stout enough. I have a feeling if you really racked on them, you would rip one of them off. The thing is, and people kind of misunderstand this, and you've probably heard me say it a bunch of times, racking the slide on a semi-auto pistol, it's not about strength, it's more about technique. You'll see a lot of people hold the frame still and try to rack the slide. You've got to really put your lower body into your hips into it, and as you're pulling back on the slide, you're pushing forward on the grip frame with your right hand. And that's going to help you a lot more using the proper technique, I think, rather than having these fragile wings on the back that you can't really get out very easily, from what I understand as well.
Yeah, I mean, you have to peel these out one by one.
Right.
And in a stressful situation, I doubt that's going to be very easy to do. Now, Taurus, I think you need to hire me, because I think if they would have made this gun with a Springfield or 1911 safety in the grip that was tied to these, so when you grip the gun, it would pop these wings out. You pick up the gun and they go pop.
There you go.
But yeah, I don't know. It seems like Taurus and their designers are I mean, they're trying to innovate, but it seems like they're just throwing things at the wall to see what sticks.
I will give them credit. Taurus is one company that isn't afraid to put something out there, and if it doesn't work, they pull it.
Yeah.
And that is nice to see. You know, there are a lot of companies out there that aren't willing to do things, aren't willing to, jump in feet first and try something. And every once in a while, Taurus does hit sort of a home run. It depends on the reliability and the quality control, but like they're doing that little PT-22 poly, the little tip-up barrel 22. Yeah. Everybody I've talked to loves it. So, I mean, and I've held one. They feel great. I mean, I wouldn't want to carry a 22 as a pocket gun, but for a little plinker, I think that would be awesome, and it's only like $200.
Well, and for how much we rip on the Judge, the Taurus Judge, I mean, that has been a huge commercial success for them.
Right. It's a great gun if you use it in a certain way. The problem I have with the Judge is it's marketed to people who... It's marketed in a way that makes people think, I don't have to practice with my gun. I have a shotgun and revolver. For one thing, if you ever shot a Judge and you've ever fired a 410 load out of that handgun, it is not an easy handgun to control. It's actually quite snappy.
Well, I think Taurus makes really pretty quality 1911s and the what is it? The
PT-92.
Yeah, PT-92. Those both seem to be very good guns. I mean, I think it's also telling that their competition shooters shoot the 1911 instead of their polymer guns.
Right. Well, and it's kind of cool, like the original, because Taurus was in Brazil, and I guess when Beretta and Smith & Wesson had factories in Brazil, and one of the stipulations was when they were done, they had to leave all the tooling there. So when Taurus took those factories over, that's why they started making copies of the Smith & Wesson guns and the Beretta guns, because all the tooling was there.
Yeah. Yeah, and they had been making them, and they knew how to make them.
I mean, I personally like the PT92. If Beretta would take a kind of a hint from them and do the, I know they made one with the frame mounted safety, but I hate the Beretta slide safety. I don't even know why it's up there. If they put one on the frame, I would love the Beretta. But I just, with that frame mounted safety and it goes the wrong way, I'm not a huge fan.
Well, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Alien Gear Holsters, for sponsoring this episode of Gun Guy Radio, aliengearholsters.com, where you can check out the comfortable Cloak Tuck 2.0. That's a holster I've been wearing, and it's very comfortable. Provides great retention. That's something you might look at this holster and wonder about, but the retention is very good on this, and it's adjustable. Cant and ride depth, and as low as $29.88. So you can't beat that price for a quality inside the waistband holster. So aliengearholsters.com. Also like to thank Duluth Trading Company. Like I mentioned earlier, if you're looking for longer, shirts or undershirts, either one, undershirts to tuck in, or outer shirts to just let hang to cover your carry piece. Duluth has you covered. They have tons of options, and they're all have long tails on them, so you don't have to worry about them coming untucked when you bend over, or them showing the butt of your pistol when you're reaching up on a shelf at Walmart. So check them out, DuluthTradingCompany.com. And you can follow our link through Gun Guy Radio to that, gunguyradio.com/Duluth. And don't forget, we have the FRN Patreon launched if you want to support the network as a whole, patreon.com/FRN. And then also Patreon for this show, patreon.com/gun. And we'll be sending out some random battle boxes with the below items in them. Works Holsters just came on board with $25 gift cards. Works Holsters, very, very quality holsters. You've had some experiences with them, right?
I am a huge fan. Shan is a great guy over there. If you guys need a holster, he doesn't have it on there, ask him. I'm sure he could probably accommodate you if it's not anything too outrageous. I have one for my CM9, my car, when I carry inside the waistband, and I also have a great one for my Sig Sauer P226, an outside the waistband holster, and it's fantastic. It stays where it is. It's got great retention, and it's just quality all around. It oozes quality. Even the buffing on the edges of the holster, everything's nicely rounded. It's not uncomfortable like you may find at some of the lower end stuff. So he really makes high quality products. I definitely recommend him if you're in the market for a holster.
And LA Police Gear has furnished some bailout bags, some hats, and tactical flashlights. Duluth Trading Company $50 gift cards. Duke Cannon Soap Supply not battle, but limited edition U.S. military field grade gift box sets of big ass bricks of soap, which you can see behind me if you're watching the video. And GunGoddess.com, $25 gift card. So a whole lot of value right there. And I also have t-shirts and anything else I have lying around here I send out in these random battle boxes for being a patron of Gun Guy Radio. Go to patreon.com/gun or look for the link on the website. And last but not least, Ryan Cross, Hunter of Design. If you need some awesome graphics design work done for you personally or for your business, most likely, if you need a new logo, new look, new brand image for your business, check out hunterofdesign.com. Shoot Ryan an email and he can get you set up with that new logo, website, whatever you need. Well, that about wraps us up. You can leave your feedback by leaving a comment on the bottom of the show notes at gunguyradio.com/152. Remember to subscribe and leave us an iTunes review, gunguyradio.com/iTunes. Please consider joining the NRA and Second Amendment Foundation. They do things for our Second Amendment rights that collectively we can make great strides with. We've seen them do great things in the last couple of years, bringing back gun rights to metropolitan areas like Chicago and D.C. So check them out. Don't forget to shop Brownells and Amazon using our affiliate links. Check the website for those affiliate banners. You can bookmark firearmsradio.tv/Amazon for the Amazon one. And don't forget to check out all the other awesome shows on the Firearms Radio Network, like Ryan Machad's Handgun Radio.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
No, it was a great time to come on the show. I'm usually not on anybody else's other shows, so this is kind of a treat, and really appreciate you asking me to come on. And if anybody would go check it out, handgunradio.com, or like the Facebook page, facebook.com/handgunradio.
So you got anything in the works that you want to share?
We got an episode. I got a few people lined up here. I got an episode coming up on machine pistols. I did one a long time ago, but I don't have nearly the experience the guy coming on does. I'd like to get an episode going with Andrew Branco over at Law of Self-Defense and talk about some misconceptions in self-defense law and concealed carry, so that'll be really cool. So exciting things lined up for the future here, so be sure to check them out.
Very cool. Well, that's a wrap, and we'll see you next week.